Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm finally out of lockdown. As you can see, the nice beautiful golf course in the background. So I hope you guys will be looking forward to more videos on the golf course. I always think that it's super important for us to take the club away correctly so that we can set ourselves up in a good position on the backswing, okay? So today I'll be focusing on the handle position at setup and how it will actually affect your takeaway, and also how we're going to use it as a drills to help to fix some part of the takeaway. Alright, before I get anything started, I'm going to introduce you the three most common handle position at setup, okay? So number one, I will call this a neutral position, which I would say this is the ideal setup position, okay? Number two, that's what we call the forward press. I see a lot in students. I think that is also mostly because we hear a lot, like you got to make sure that you set up with the handle forward so you can, this is the impact position that we want to get to. So we see a lot of people trying to forward press. Eventually, it might creep in also in the long run. When you practice a lot, you know, we start to push the handle more and more forward. Or a lot of beginners, they tend to have their hands behind because they always think that I need to scoop the ball up in the air, right? So they tend to put their hands a bit more behind, okay? So this is the three position: neutral, forward press, and behind, and too much backwards, okay? So today I'm going to talk about how this three position will affect your backswing and also how we can use it as drills, as I mentioned earlier. All right, I'm going to start off with a neutral setup position. What is neutral setup position again? Handle is just slightly forward, all right, just in front of center, or I would say maybe over the ball, okay? So at this position, it will be easier for me to take the club away on plane, okay, and easier for the chest and the handle to stay connected. So if you're going to look at it down the line with a neutral setup position, as you can see when I turn, there's not much movement in the wrist and my hands, okay? There might be a slight hinge, all right? There's a slight hinge. Chest and the sternum is turning towards the right side. This will be a neutral setup position, and I will say this is the ideal takeaway position. Okay, next I'm going to talk about forward press. Forward press means the shaft is leaning forward towards the target, okay? That means the shaft is more towards my left thigh over here, okay? So I would say that forward press is the most common setup position I see in a lot of students, all right? I don't really like forward press too much. It's because, first of all, if I have my hands too far forward, I will tend to take away with the handle moving away from my body. We do not want to disconnect the handle from the body. As you can see, if I have the handle forward, I will tend to get the handles too far away, and you can see sometimes our hands are too active and we'll yank the club back and the club head gets too far inside. When we are at this position in a takeaway, you will tend to have a really flat backswing, or you know that you can turn this way, you'll start lifting your arms, and then we all ended up with an over the top downswing, which is outside in, okay? With the forward press setup, this is what it will affect. This is how it will affect our takeaway. All right, but this forward press takeaway could be a drill for people that have a really steep backswing. A really steep backswing, that means sometimes we'll see people pushing their hands out on a takeaway, okay? Or just hinging too much. So if you have this problem in your takeaway, you can work on setting up with the club, the handle a bit forward, okay? If the handle is a bit forward, it will force you to go a little bit inside. So if you have this problem, getting too steep, try to feel like that to get this position. Okay, the next position is the handle is too far behind. Okay, too far behind the ball, that means the handle is more towards my right thigh, the shaft is leaning towards the right side, okay? I see this a lot in beginners because they tend to try to scoop the ball up in the air, okay? So they have the handle behind. So with the handle behind, all right, this is what will happen in the takeaway. First of all, the club head will be way above the plane, okay? The plane is here, right? So if I have the handle behind, the club head will be way above the plane, or there's no hinge at all in the takeaway. All right, we want to get to this position. All right, if your handle is like this and you take away like that, it's going to be really hard to hinge on your backswing. all right? But again, it could be a drill. For people, have the club head way inside on the backswing, that means a really flat takeaway, or with people that have open club face on the backswing. So I would like for you to have the handle more towards the right thigh to feel a little bit more like that, okay? So with people that have open club face on the backswing or flat shoulder turn, I would like for you to set up with the club head, I would like for you to set up with the butt of the club more towards your right thigh so you can have a more steeper takeaway. That means the club face will be more facing towards the ball, all right? Just feel a bit more like that. From this angle, feel more like that to get to this position. So takeaway like that, you're gonna feel like that to get to a perfect takeaway. Okay, that's the 3 different handle position as setup, okay? So I see a lot of students or golfers having the handle forward or handle backward. Some of them hit it perfect, right? They somewhat can get it to a good position at impact or like this, and they can still get it to a really good impact position. That's fine. If you're hitting it great, I don't think you should make any changes. This is just for beginners or golfers that are trying to work on getting the club moving more on plane. I think this is a good drill for you. I would say the neutral position is a good position for a full swing, all right? So if you want to hit a lower ball flight or higher ball flight or even shaping your shots, yes, we do change the handle position. So again, for today's neutral setup position is for our normal full swing, okay? Of course, for the driver, we know that the ball position is forward, you know, it does affect the setup as well. So I'm talking about our irons and our full swings, and it could be your hybrid setup as well. All right, now I'm going to show you how to get into a good takeaway position and how we're going to practice and actually build a good takeaway position. So I'd like for you guys to set up neutral, just get a feel of neutral position, and also know how we want the club to be at our takeaway position, all right? Which is the club face, the leading edge somewhat in line with our spine, okay? Not much movement in the wrist and arm. There's definitely a slight hinge, okay? With the chest and the sternum turning with the club. All right, so if you are having a really steep takeaway position, I would like for you to start off your setup position with the handle a bit more forward, okay? That will bring the club head a bit more inside on the takeaway, okay? So if you have this handle forward, feel this in order to get to this position. If you have a really flat shoulder turn or you open your club face on the takeaway, I would like for you to set up with the handle a bit behind, okay? So you're gonna get the club head a bit above the plane on the takeaway. Just gotta feel like that in order to get to a good takeaway position. So when you know how it feels to be at a good takeaway position, I would like for you to stop here, all right? Just take a couple practice swing, turn, look at it, just check if it's a good position, get your eye back to the ball or back to the ground, and then from here I'll let you to just hinge the club a little bit and turn to get to a good backswing position and then swing through. So, good takeaway position, pause it here, nice turn through. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the ball. I'm gonna pause at the takeaway position. Okay, for me it's gonna be a neutral setup. Take away to a good setup position. From here, just turn. I lost my balance. I guess this is what happens after 100 days of no golf. All right, once again. Neutral setup position. Good takeaway position. From here, turn. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoy and you got something out of this video. Feels fantastic to be out again filming. I hope you guys will be able to work on these drills a little bit, and I hope that the good takeaway will be able to set you up in a good position at the top and hit it a little bit more solid from now on. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.